Hello, my Socratica friends. We're here to help you be a great student. And one of the best ways to be a great student is to be on top of things. Imagine never being stressed about having enough time to do your work. No more cramming for tests, ever. Is such a thing possible? Oh, yes. Thanks to the magical, miraculous, simple invention of the planner. First, let me get this out of the way. I know you have a calendar app on your phone. That's fine. Use that if it makes you happy. But in this video, we're going to talk about a good old-fashioned paper planner. There's something extra, I don't know, something about the tactile, physical nature of it maybe that makes a paper planner work better for me. We do use Google Calendar here at Socratica, so we can share deadlines with each other, but we always plan out our work first on a paper calendar. Today, we're going to focus on using your planner for school, but the techniques we use transfer very well to the workplace. It's how we do it here at Socratica. By the way, if you'd like to help us keep things running smoothly here, consider supporting us on Patreon. Your gift means office supplies for us and videos for you. First, you need to pick your planner. My personal favorite is this academic year planner from Moleskine. It has beautifully soft paper that's so nice to write on. But more importantly, it's organized in a way that works for me. Each week gets its own page, and that's about all I can focus on at a time. There's lots of room to write down work deadlines and other activities for each day. On the opposite side, there's a whole page for whatever you want. I use it for a weekly to-do list, things that don't have to be done on a certain day. Don't feel like you have to buy this planner. Think about how you like to organize yourself. Maybe it's better for you to see a whole month at a time. This planner has that as well, but I don't use it as much. In that case, you might like one of those huge desk blotter calendars. We'll include links to a few good options in the description section below. The one other purchase we recommend is a couple of different colored pens. I like to use red for deadlines and blue for everything else. These Pilot gel pens write well on this planner, but maybe you have your own favorites. Office supplies are my weakness, so please tell us your recommendations in the comments. Now, let's start filling in our planner. There is an art to it. You don't want to write down everything you have to do each day, just enough to keep yourself on track. We'll start with deadlines. Take out your syllabus from each class and copy over all the dates of your tests and deadlines for major assignments. I write these important dates in red. If that's too scary for you, you can pick something friendlier like turquoise or purple, so long as it stands out compared to a regular day. Now here's where the magic comes in. This is how we stop cramming, stop worrying about how much time we have. It's not rocket science. We just count backwards. For instance, you have a paper due on Friday, count backwards to when you want to be finished with a rough draft, and then backwards from that when you need to have completed all your background research. Now, count back a little more, and that is your start date. Same for tests. Give yourself a couple weeks here, ideally. Count back a couple days. That's your final review. A few days before that, practice test 2. A few days before that, review 1. A few days before that, practice test 1. A few days before that, review notes. That's when you actually start your studying. How do you know how long it will take you to complete your assignments? I know I kind of glossed over that, saying a few days here, a few days there, but it's because it's something you have to figure out for yourself. Initially, it's going to be your best guess. But over time, you'll get better at this kind of estimating because you're going to track how long each assignment takes. We recommend using the Pomodoro technique. We have a whole video about it, by the way. Basically, you're going to break your work into 20 to 25-minute chunks. Each time you finish a Pomodoro, make a check mark in your planner. Count up how many Pomodoros it takes you to write a paper or do your reading assignment. Now you have a better idea how much time to allocate for your next assignment. Let's say it took you 10 Pomodoros to write your last paper. For your next paper, plan on at least that much time. We don't want you to rush, so let's say 12 Pomodoros. Divide by 2 and then count backwards. Do 2 Pomodoros each day on your paper, and it should take you 6 days. Ideally, give yourself 1 extra day in case something comes up. Plan for the unexpected by giving yourself a little buffer. So let's count backwards and plan this out. Paper due on Friday. Thursday is your buffer day. So final draft should be finished on Wednesday. Give yourself a day to get feedback and revise, Tuesday. So your rough draft should be finished on Monday. Let's plan on 2 days for rough draft, 2 days for research. That means you should start your research on Friday, 1 week before the paper is due. Have you ever actually really spent a week working on a paper? You can't imagine how much better it feels to do your work this way. So much less stress. And bonus, your work actually improves because you're less stressed. I know. There's this romantic idea about waiting for inspiration before you write a paper, or staying up all night in college and cramming for tests. I don't like to say anyone is dumb, but seriously, this is so dumb. When you're a student, studying and learning and writing papers is your job. Do you think this is a good way to do your job? Imagine people rushing into work and trying to cram in all the things they have to do in the last 2 hours of the day. That's what you're doing when you put off your homework and try to do it all the last minute. Of course, you're not going to do your best. Stop this madness and be professional about your job as a student. Okay, so you took our advice, got yourself a planner, and your life is still a mess. What if this kind of basic planning ahead isn't enough? We can go deeper, Socratica friends. This isn't for everyone, but if you really are crunched for time, say you're a student and you have a part-time job, you'll need to actually plan out every hour of your day. Let's take a look at how to make this work. First, you're going to just document what's going on. Use a blank journal page for this and write everything down. Don't try to be extra efficient. Just be honest about how you spent your time. It helps if you can do this for a whole week. What's your workload like this semester? 4, 5 classes? Let's say you have on average 2 classes a day and you have a job working in the dining hall at lunch and dinner. You honestly haven't given a lot of thought about how to best spend your time, and you often run late for class. You don't finish your assignments and you cram for tests. Here's what your typical day looks like. Wake up 8 a.m. Read phone in bed 8 to 8:45. Get dressed, brush teeth, 8:45 to 9. Argue with roommate, 9 to 9:30. Eat breakfast, 9:30 to 9:50. Walk to class, 9:50 to 10:05, a little late. Math class, 10 to 11. Talk to friends outside of math class, 11 to noon. Work/lunch in the dining hall, noon to 1. You eat there during a break. Play frisbee, 1 to 2. Run to class, 2 to 2:10. Was a little late, missed intro lecture. Chemistry lab, 2 to 4. Coffee with friends, 4 to 4:45. Walk home, 4:45 to 5. Chemistry homework, 5 to 7. Did not finish. Dinner work in the dining hall, 7 to 8. Eat during break. Math homework and talk to friends online, 8 to 11. Did not finish. Play video games, 11 to 1. Read phone, 1 to 2. Somewhere around 2, fall asleep. At the end of a day like this, you feel like you were very busy, but you didn't get much done, did you? I don't see any long-term work, like studying for a test or writing a paper, and you didn't even finish your homework. I see a lot of areas for improvement here. My first reaction is 6 hours is not enough sleep. Most of us need 7 to 9 hours, and this is something you should not compromise on. So this is where we're going to start, by scheduling in enough sleep. Be careful here. Don't try to force yourself to get up early if you're a night owl. And don't try to stay up late studying if you're a morning person. Respect your chronotype, people. So let's write in 8 hours of sleep. 12 a.m., lights out, to 8 a.m., alarm goes off. Adjust these times to what works best for you. Allow yourself at least 1 hour to unwind before you go to sleep. Preferably without screens. So now you're at 11 p.m. I know, having a bedtime is no fun, but you can't compromise on your health. Use this time to really take care of yourself. Take a hot shower or a bath if you're lucky enough to have one. Do some gentle stretching or yoga. Now is a great time to practice meditation or do pleasure reading. Before we do anything else with your schedule, we're going to write in the events that have to happen. You have to go to class. You have to get to class. You have to show up on time for your job. So let's write those times in because you can't schedule anything else then. Walk across campus, 9:45 to 10. Okay, be honest here about how long it actually takes. It takes 15 minutes. Math class, 10 to 11. Walk to work, 11:45 to noon. Work/lunch, noon to 1. Walk to class, 1:45 to 2. Chemistry lab, 2 to 4. Walk to work, 6:45 to 7. Work/dinner, 7 to 8. The next step is to divide your remaining time into useful blocks. We're looking for nice chunks of time you can devote to your schoolwork and not just what's due immediately. We need to schedule in some time to study for tests and when you'll work on longer projects, like papers as well. Remember, these tests and papers will always be there. Ideally, set aside one substantial block of time each day for this kind of work. I see a big chunk of time here in the morning. From the time you wake up, 8 a.m., to the time you eat breakfast, 9:30. Devoting this valuable time to reading social media or squabbling with your annoying roommate is not smart. Admit this to yourself. What could you be doing instead? Let's keep 15 minutes for washing up and getting dressed. Very important. Don't neglect your hygiene. And you need time to eat breakfast as well. Can you eat and read at the same time? I think so, especially if you keep your breakfast simple. So let's set aside the morning for doing a reading assignment. Remember to break this time into pomodoros. 8 to 8:15, get dressed and cleaned up. 8:15 to 8:40, Pomodoro 1, reading assignment. Remember to take reading notes so you don't have to go back to your textbook when it's time to study for a test. 8:40 to 8:45, break. 8:45 to 9:10, Pomodoro 2, reading assignment. 9:10 to 9:15, break. 9:15 to 9:40, Pomodoro 3, reading assignment. 9:45, leave for class. If you've ever used the Pomodoro method, you know how effective it is. You can get a lot of reading done in 3 Pomodoros because you're so focused. I'd actually be really surprised if you didn't finish one whole reading assignment during these 3 Pomodoros. Check off how long it took in your planner. Next, you go to math class on time, and you're there for an hour. What usually happens afterwards? A lot of goofing off. I'm not saying don't talk to your friends, but you need to think about reclaiming as much of your time as you can. Give yourself 15, 20 minutes to goof off, but then let's put the rest of that hour towards something very valuable, reviewing your class notes. We recommend taking Cornell notes, and an essential part of this method is reviewing and summarizing. The sooner you do this after class, the better, because our brains are excellent at forgetting things. If you need some pointers about how to take great notes, we have a video all about this technique. So now we're putting in 11 to 11:20, talk with friends. 11:20 to 11:45, Pomodoro, review class notes and write summaries. 11:45, walk to work/lunch. Notice how I built in a walk so you won't be late for work? Don't forget travel time when you're planning your schedule. After lunch, you usually play Frisbee. Don't worry, I'm not going to tell you to cut that out of your day. You're having fun with friends. You're doing something healthy for your body. This is actually a great use of your time. But you have to remember to stop so you're not late for your next class. Set an alarm if you have to. Walk to class 1:45 to 2. Chemistry lab 2 to 4. Ah, you got there on time. So you heard the introductory lecture, which is going to make your lab go much smoother. You might even finish early since now you know what you're supposed to be doing. Hey, great, it's 4 p.m. and you're done for the day. Not really. How are you going to spend this nice fat chunk of time you have before dinner? 3 whole hours. I'll tell you what you're not going to do. You're not going to try to study straight through. You need to break those 3 hours into pomodoros. Also, I still think it's a great idea to give yourself a coffee break with friends, which is a nice time to recharge after a long chunk of work. You don't have to neglect your friendships in the name of being a great student, but maybe just rein it in a little. Set aside 20 minutes for a nice visit and then get to work. Let's break that remaining time into pomodoros for homework and studying. 4:20 to 4:45. Pomodoro 1. Chemistry homework. Because you just came from Chem Lab, so it's probably still fresh in your mind. 4:45 to 4:50. Break. 4:50 to 5:15. Pomodoro 2. Homework. 5:15 to 5:20. Break. 5:20 to 5:45. Pomodoro 3, homework. This might be enough time to get your homework done if you're really concentrating. Maybe you have 1 or 2 problems left that you're not sure about. That's okay. Save it for later. You'd be surprised how often a question will become clear if you give your brain a break and then look at it again later. If that doesn't happen, send a message to a classmate and ask for help. Now is a good time to shift gears and do a little work on a longer project. Since you're on campus, I'm assuming you're studying at the library. That's the perfect place to do your research for that paper coming up. Give yourself a real break when you're switching gears like this. It may even be a good idea to get up and change locations if you can. Wander around the stacks in the library, say hi to a friend. Do a mental reset. Now let's see how much of your paper you can get finished. 5:55 to 6:20, Pomodoro 1, paper. 6:20 to 6:25, break. 6:25 to 6:45, Pomodoro 2, paper. If you put in 2 Pomodoros a day for a week, you'll be in really good shape on your paper. No more rushing, no more staying up all night trying to finish it the night before. Look, you even have time to leisurely walk to your job. After dinner, you're back home and you have another nice big chunk of time, 3 hours before you clock out for the day. Let's break it into 2 more sections. One for your math homework, the other studying for a test. 8 to 8:25, Pomodoro 1, math homework. 8:25 to 8:30, break. 8:35 to 9, Pomodoro 2, math homework. 9 to 9:05, break. 9:05 to 9:30, Pomodoro 3, math homework. I'm telling you, if you've never used the Pomodoro technique, you'll be amazed at how 3 reasonable chunks of time, separated by breaks, feel so much more manageable than trying to study for an hour and a half straight through. You'll get way more done this way. Now, take a longer break, say 30 minutes. Now's the time to check in with friends online. Call home and say hi, watch a few YouTube videos, whatever you'd like. Just check out mentally for a bit and get ready to change gears. And finally, you've left yourself a block of time for studying, as in you're studying for a test that's coming up in a week or 2. No need to cram because every day you have a nice couple of Pomodoros set aside just for this exact thing. 10 to 10:25, Pomodoro 1, study for test. Start with a pre-test. 10:25 to 10:30, break. 10:30 to 10:55, Pomodoro 2, study for test. Reread notes on what you missed on pretest. 11 p.m., the end of your school day. It's time to unplug, wind down, and take care of yourself. Go take a hot shower, do a face mask, listen to some music. Do some yoga with Adrian. You'll start to look forward to this hour, believe me. Lights out. Good night, my Socratica friends. That was one excellent day in the life of a great student.